Millions of adults feel foggier every night, and most have no idea their brain is failing to clean itself. You've likely tried the typical advice like avoiding caffeine or turning off your phone, yet you still find yourself staring at the ceiling while the clock ticks toward dawn. Here is the thing. Your brain isn't broken, but might be trapped in a physiological feedback loop that's actually preventable. By the end of this video, you'll realize your brain at night works less like a light switch and more like a cleaning crew that only shows up under very specific biological conditions. Most people assume sleep is just a passive state of rest, but new research suggests it's the most active metabolic window your brain experiences. If you don't master this window, you aren't just tired. You're forcing your brain to operate through a buildup of metabolic waste that slows down every thought you have. Later in this video, I'm going to reveal a 2024 cognitive shift regarding a specific hidden mechanism already in your bedroom that is likely sabotaging your deep sleep without you ever realizing it. And no, it is not your mattress. But first, we need to address the bottom line. Your ability to recover tonight dictates your cognitive performance tomorrow. If you're struggling to drift off, you need to understand that you're not lazy and you aren't just getting old. You're likely fighting against a biology that has been overstimulated by the modern world. For many adults between the ages of 35 and 70, the struggle to stay asleep is often rooted in a physical shift in how our bodies process sleep pressure. It is frustrating to feel like your body has betrayed you, especially when you're doing everything right. This isn't a character flaw. It is a biological mismatch. Imagine your brain is like a high-end smartphone. By the end of the day, the battery isn't just low, the background apps are cluttered, the memory is full, and the processor is running hot. You can't just flip a switch and expect it to be perfect. You have to allow the system to clear the cache. To understand how to fix this, imagine a cleaning crew entering a large office building at night. This is your glymphatic system. While you sleep, this cleaning crew literally flushes out metabolic waste, such as beta-amyloid, that builds up while you're awake. If you don't reach specific stages of sleep, the crew never gets the signal to start. This is where most people accidentally make things worse by forcing themselves to stay in bed, which creates a psychological association between your mattress and your anxiety. And this is where the microtension begins to build. Another way to look at this is the hourglass of adenosine. From the moment you wake up, sand starts falling into the bottom of the glass. This sand represents adenosine, the chemical that creates sleep pressure. If that glass doesn't tip over correctly, or if you attempt to trick the system with certain substances, the pressure remains. This leads to what research suggests are brief micro-awakenings that fragment your sleep cycles. You might not even remember waking up, but these interruptions prevent the cleaning crew from ever finishing a single room. What the research actually shows is that your sleep architecture is not a single block of time, but a series of delicate transitions. If you miss the first transition, the entire night is compromised. This brings us to our 4-phase protocol to reset your system and trigger that 2024 cognitive shift. Phase 1 of the protocol starts with your light environment. Your eyes are essentially extensions of your brain, and they are specifically tuned to the color temperature of the world around you. When you expose yourself to bright overhead lights after 8 p.m., you are sending a massive daytime signal to your internal clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This can disrupt melatonin production and significantly delay your sleep onset. Imagine a brain glowing red with activity when it should be cooling down. Instead, try switching to low-level warm-tone lamps. This signals the brain that the cleaning crew needs to get ready for their shift. This isn't just about relaxation. It is about biochemical signaling. And here's the thing. There is one specific light source in your home that most people never think about, which we will come back to in just a moment. Phase 2 involves the body temp paradox. It might sound counterintuitive, but your internal core temperature actually needs to drop by about 2 to 3 degrees Fahrenheit to initiate deep sleep. Remember the cleaning crew? They can't work properly if your brain stays too warm. And this is where most people unknowingly sabotage the entire process. They pile on blankets or keep the thermostat high, trapped in a cycle of heat-induced wakefulness. This is why a hot shower an hour before bed is so effective. When you step out of the heat, your body rapidly sheds warmth through your hands and feet, which triggers the brain to enter sleep mode. If your room is too warm, your body stays in a state of high metabolic heat, and the sand in your hourglass gets stuck. Research suggests that a room temperature near 65 degrees is the sweet spot for most healthy adults. If you're sleeping in a room that is 72 degrees or higher, you're effectively asking your brain to run a marathon in a sauna. You might fall asleep, but you won't stay in the deep, restorative stages required for cognitive cleanup. Your brain needs that cool environment to facilitate a slight reduction in cell volume that allows fluid to flow more freely, which lets the cleaning crew move easily and remove the waste products of your day. Phase 3 is about managing the cognitive loop. This is the moment your head hits the pillow and your brain decides to replay every mistake you've made since 1995. And there is a reason your brain chooses that exact moment to replay everything. We will explain that in a second. This microtension keeps your cortisol levels just high enough to prevent the transition into Phase 3 sleep. To stop this, we use a technique called brain dumping. 5 minutes before you enter the bedroom, write down everything you need to do tomorrow. This transfers the tabs open in your brain onto a physical piece of paper, allowing your mental processor to cool down. You're essentially giving your brain permission to stop holding onto those thoughts until morning. Research suggests that the act of writing by hand has been shown to reduce emotional reactivity in the brain's fear center. When you visualize this process, imagine those stressful thoughts leaving your forehead and sticking to the paper, leaving your mind clear and silent, like a stickman walking into a quiet, dark room. Phase 4 focuses on that hidden mechanism, the concept of digital sunset and the stimulation of the reward pathway. This is the same search mode system that keeps your brain on high alert. Most people know blue light is bad, but the psychological stimulation of infinite scroll is actually the bigger culprit. It promotes wakefulness and alertness by triggering dopamine. This dopamine tells your brain that there is something important happening that requires your attention. By implementing a hard cutoff for all scrolling 60 minutes before bed, you allow your nervous system to downshift from high alert to rest and digest. This is the 2024 cognitive shift. By removing the digital noise, you allow your brain to naturally produce its own sedative chemistry without interference. What the research actually shows is that even small amounts of movement during the day can influence how quickly that adenosine hourglass fills up. You don't need to run a marathon. A 15-minute walk in natural sunlight during the morning can anchor your circadian rhythm so deeply that by 10 p.m., your body isn't just ready for sleep. It is demanding it. Sleep doesn't start at night. It starts the moment you open your eyes in the morning. If you don't get that morning light, your internal clock stays in a state of free run, which makes falling asleep at night feel like an uphill battle. This is the part of the action and reframing you need to adopt tonight. You are reframing sleep not as a task you do at 11 p.m., but as a biological process you nurture throughout the entire day. The good news is that your brain is remarkably resilient. Even if you have struggled with sleep for decades, these physiological levers can strongly influence your recovery starting tonight. By adjusting your light, temperature, and mental load, you're giving your biology the environment it needs to succeed. You're not fighting against yourself. You're just learning to speak the language of your own nervous system. Imagine a brain glowing red with stress slowly turning into a calm, deep blue. That is the goal. Here's the thing. You don't need a total life overhaul. You just need to work with your biology instead of against it. The bottom line is that your health, your memory, and your emotional stability all rely on these 8 hours. When you skip sleep, you are essentially asking your brain to function with a buildup of metabolic waste. Over time, this leads to the brain fog and irritability that many people just accept as a part of life. But it doesn't have to be that way. The protocol we discussed, controlling light, managing temperature, dumping your thoughts, and respecting the digital sunset, is designed to work with your body's natural 24-hour cycle. Think about the cleaning crew finally being able to finish their job without interruptions. Think about waking up with a mind that is sharp, clear, and ready to take on the world because you finally gave it the rest it deserves. The 2024 cognitive shift isn't about a new pill or a complex gadget. It's about returning to the fundamental rhythms of your biology. The information provided in this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Always consult with a healthcare professional before making changes to your health routine or if you suffer from chronic insomnia, as there may be underlying conditions that require medical intervention. If you found these insights helpful and want to master your sleep science with more elite retention strategies, make sure to subscribe to Snooze Mode and hit the notification bell. We are dedicated to bringing you the latest peer-reviewed research and translating it into actionable steps you can use tonight. Bottom line, better sleep isn't a luxury, it's your biological right. I will see you in the next video.